She was called the People's Princess, but behind the dazzling smile that captivated billions lay a story of heartbreak, courage, and revolutionary compassion that changed our world forever. What if I told you that a shy teenager who once failed her school exams would one day walk through active minefields, challenge global stigmas around AIDS, and redefine what it means to be royal? Today, we uncover the extraordinary truth about Princess Diana, not just the fairy tale, but the raw humanity that made her an icon whose influence still shapes our world decades after her tragic death. Stay with me until the end, where I'll reveal the most powerful lesson Diana left us, a secret to living that has transformed the lives of millions, including royalty, celebrities, and perhaps soon, even yours. On July 1st, 1961, Diana Frances Spencer entered the world, a baby girl born into British aristocracy in Norfolk, England. As the fourth of 5 children, there was little indication that this particular child would one day become one of the most influential women in modern history. Yet, even in her earliest years, there was something different about Diana. Those who knew her spoke of a special quality, a light in her sparkling blue eyes, a warmth in her smile that could melt the coldest heart. Beyond her outward beauty, Diana possessed something rare, an innate compassion that seemed to radiate from within. Her childhood, however, was far from the fairy tale many would later imagine. When Diana was just 7 years old, her parents' marriage collapsed into a bitter divorce. This early heartbreak taught young Diana a lesson she would carry throughout her life: the power of resilience in the face of pain. Despite natural shyness, Diana's magnetic energy drew people to her. While other aristocratic children might have remained in privileged isolation, Diana spent hours volunteering with children and the elderly. Her passion for helping others wasn't something she developed later for publicity. It was woven into the very fabric of her character from the beginning. 1977 marked a turning point that would catapult Diana from relative obscurity onto the world stage. At just 16 years old, she met Prince Charles, heir to the British throne. Their connection was immediate, but not for the reasons most romantic stories would have us believe. What drew Charles to Diana wasn't just her natural beauty. In a world of royal protocol and performance, Diana was refreshingly authentic. She didn't pretend to be someone else to impress a prince. And Charles, despite the weight of royal expectations, was captivated by her genuine spirit. Their courtship became the obsession of the global media. Overnight, this teenage girl found herself under the unforgiving glare of the world's spotlight. Every move, every outfit, every word scrutinized by millions. Most would have crumbled under such pressure. Diana didn't. July 29th, 1981. The wedding of the century. An estimated 750 million people worldwide held their breath as Diana, vision-like in her 25-foot train, walked down the aisle of St. Paul's Cathedral. The streets of London overflowed with cheering crowds. The fairy tale princess had found her prince, and the world was enraptured. But behind the glittering facade of royal perfection, a very different story was unfolding. In 1982, Diana gave birth to Prince William, followed 2 years later by Prince Harry. If there was one role that Diana embraced more completely than any other, it was motherhood. Unlike royal mothers before her, who often relegated child-rearing to nannies, Diana was determined to be present. She took her sons to school herself, brought them to fast food restaurants, took them to amusement parks and homeless shelters alike. She was committed to showing them a world beyond palace walls. I want them to have an understanding of people's emotions, people's insecurities, people's distress, and people's hopes and dreams, she once said. This revolutionary approach to royal parenting shocked traditionalists, but endeared her further to the public. Here was a princess who prioritized love over protocol, humanity over hierarchy. Yet, while Diana excelled as a mother and humanitarian, her marriage was quietly crumbling. Behind closed doors, the royal union was strained by pressure, incompatibility, and the complication of other relationships. By 1992, what began as a fairy tale ended in separation. Their divorce was finalized in 1996, leaving Diana to face an uncertain future outside the protective, if constraining, walls of the royal establishment. For many women, such a public divorce would have been devastating, especially one watched by the entire world. But Diana wasn't most women. What happened next stunned the world and cemented Diana's legacy forever. Rather than retreating from public life, Diana channeled her personal pain into profound purpose. She became even more dedicated to humanitarian causes, using her unprecedented fame to shine light into the world's darkest corners. In an era when HIV and AIDS patients were treated as untouchables, Diana walked into hospital wards, removed her gloves, and held their hands. "HIV does not make people dangerous to know," she declared, "so you can shake their hands and give them a hug. Heaven knows they need it." With this simple, profound gesture, she shattered stigmas that government campaigns had failed to budge for years. In 1997, she walked through active minefields in Angola, literally and figuratively. Images of the princess navigating deadly terrain in protective gear shocked the public and brought unprecedented attention to the landmine crisis. Within months of her visit, the Ottawa Treaty banning anti-personnel landmines was signed by 122 countries. Diana wasn't just using her fame for photo opportunities. She was leveraging it to create tangible change in a world that desperately needed it. What made Diana truly extraordinary wasn't her title or her beauty. It was her willingness to show vulnerability in a position that demanded perfection. In an unprecedented move for royalty, Diana spoke openly about her struggles with depression, bulimia, and feelings of isolation. "I was crying out for help, but giving the wrong signals," she admitted in interviews that shocked the establishment, but resonated deeply with millions who had suffered silently. By sharing her own mental health journey, Diana began dismantling the stigma around psychological struggles decades before mental health awareness became mainstream. This wasn't just a princess performing charity. This was a human being who transformed her own pain into profound compassion for others. August 31st, 1997. News that stopped the world. Princess Diana, just 36 years old, killed in a car accident in Paris. The outpouring of grief was unprecedented. Mountains of flowers appeared outside Kensington Palace. Strangers embraced in streets, unified in shock and sorrow. Her funeral was watched by an estimated 2.5 billion people, one of the most viewed events in human history. But Diana would not be remembered for how she died. Her legacy would be defined by how she lived. Today, more than 25 years after her death, Diana's influence remains profoundly alive. Her sons, William and Harry, carry forward her humanitarian spirit. The Diana Award continues to recognize young people who transform their communities. The charities she championed, from landmine removal to homelessness, AIDS research to children's hospitals, continue their vital work, often stronger than ever, thanks to her enduring association. But Diana's most powerful legacy isn't found in organizations or achievements. It's found in how she fundamentally changed our expectations of what power and privilege should do in our world. Before Diana, royalty was about distance and tradition. After Diana, it became increasingly about connection and service. Before Diana, celebrities rarely used their platforms for humanitarian causes. After Diana, it became almost obligatory. Before Diana, talking about mental health struggles was taboo. After Diana, a global conversation began that continues to save lives today. So, what is that powerful lesson I promised? The one that has transformed millions of lives? It's this. True strength isn't found in titles, wealth, or perfection. It's found in the courage to be authentically human, to embrace your vulnerabilities, face your struggles, and use whatever platform you have to lift others. Diana showed us that compassion isn't just a feeling. It's a revolutionary force capable of changing systems, challenging prejudices, and healing divides that politics cannot bridge. In a world that often values image over substance, Diana reminds us that lasting impact comes not from how we appear, but from how deeply we care and how bravely we act on that caring. Carry out a random act of kindness with no expectation of reward, safe in the knowledge that one day someone might do the same for you, Diana once said. This simple philosophy guided her remarkable life and continues to inspire millions today. Princess Diana's story remains unfinished because it continues through every life she touched, every cause she championed, and every heart she inspired to greater compassion. She proved that even a life cut tragically short can leave an eternal impact when lived with purpose and love. As you go forward from this video, remember, you don't need a royal title to make a difference. You only need Diana's courage to be authentically yourself, to face your own struggles with grace, and to use whatever influence you have to make the world a little kinder. That is Diana's ultimate legacy, and it lives on, not just in palaces and charities, but in each of us who chooses to follow her example of resilient, revolutionary compassion. Thanks for watching English Tales with Emma. If you found this story inspiring, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more.